Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of my videos, and today I wanted to show you this beautiful puzzle by none other than Sam Loyd, a very famous chess composer and problemist. Here we have this position. It is white to move and to try and checkmate the black king in only 3 moves. See if you're able to solve it. It's a really beautiful solution, this one. Okay, so before we go through this particular puzzle, and hopefully you've managed to pause it and solve it yourself, I do want to have a look at a couple of positions first. Now, normally in this particular endgame, having 2 knights is normally not enough to checkmate the black king alone with the king. It normally always ends in a draw, but it is actually technically possible. So just to show you this position here, you can actually get a checkmate with 2 knights. This is what it looks like. But it's actually not possible to force a checkmate with 2 knights and a king versus a king. So I'll show you this next position here to kind of demonstrate that. So in this position, the 2 knights might be trying to checkmate the black king in the corner, but again, it is not necessarily forced. Now, I should first stress, knight to h8, h6, that's stalemate. Knight to e7, that's also stalemate, but white could try the following way to try and checkmate black. You could start it with f8, and then when the king comes to g8, you can move back to g7. Once the king moves back to h8, you go to d6. The king comes to g8, and then you can throw a check in. And only at this point is it possible for white to be able to checkmate the black king, assuming he plays the wrong move here. Because if he goes to h8, this would obviously leave you a checkmate with the knight coming to f7, and this would be a checkmate with the 2 knights. But it's not forced. The king, as long as black is staying, pretty well, trying to not be very silly here, he just needs to play to f8, and it's no longer a checkmate. In fact, it is just going to end in a draw. You can just get to the 50-move rule or draw by repetition or whatever to try and draw this game as black. Okay, so let's go back to our position over here. Now, another thing that's interesting about this position is this G pawn. And again, if this pawn is on the G file, or any of these files really, I'll just show you with these arrows, then once again, you're not normally able to force a checkmate, except if this pawn ends up on the edge of the board, and let's say the king is in the corner. It is actually technically possible to checkmate the black king. So hopefully those little hints were able to help you with the solution for this. But before I show you the solution, let me show you a couple of failed solutions first. Now, you might have tried the immediate knight to e2. This just ends in a stalemate. I'm very sorry. And there are a few other tries that don't really work here. If you take this pawn, immediate draw, and again you're going to have this position where you've got the 2 knights and the king versus the king, and unless black is silly, he's not going to be able to get checkmated here. So those 2 solutions don't work, and you're not going to get checkmate in f3 anyway. But there is one move that does work in this position, so I hope you're ready for this. It is the very stunning and very flashy looking knight to h3. I bet you did not expect this move to be the solution to this. So here we now have 2 knights against the king, but we're going to give up one of the knights. Now, black is in a zugzwang here. He can't move his king anywhere because the knights are all guarding these 2 squares and the king's defending this square and also this square as well. So black is forced to capture. I mean, he'd be silly not to. Come on, with a free knight. I'm going to get a free knight out of this. But this is where white is going to win now. He will now play another stunning move. King to f2. Don't take this pawn. It's a dead draw. So you draw the game immediately. So don't do it. But king to f2 works. And again, black is in a zugzwang. He can't move this king anywhere to these squares because of this king. And he can't move it up to h2 because the knight defends the square. So he's got to play now the move h2. And then hopefully you are able to find the checkmates here. Knight to g3 checkmate. A gorgeous solution and a gorgeous problem. I hope you enjoyed this one. Make sure you leave a like at the end of this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and comment below if you want to see some more Sam Loyd puzzles just like this, because there are some stunning ones out there. He's got like over, I think, nearly 1,000 puzzles online that you can find out yourselves. But as I say, this was a really nice one from him to show off this particular checkmate. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.